Hello and welcome to the third part of this series of 3 videos on understanding fatigue and burnout. In the first video, we looked at the business case. We highlighted your organisation's responsibilities and how it can impact you and your teams. In the second video, we looked at fatigue, the types of fatigue, what causes it, risk factors, best practices that organisations can put into place. And in this video, we're going to take a closer look at burnout. So what is burnout? Burnout is a state of physical, emotional and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. So today we're going to look at what the causes of burnout are, the risk factors and some best practices that your organisation can put in place. So the causes of burnout. Some causes of burnout are having unclear goals or job expectations, working in a dysfunctional team or organisation, experiencing an excessive workload, having little or no support from your boss or organisation, lack of control over the work that you do, lacking recognition for your work, having monotonous or low stimulation work, and when your values don't align with the actions, behaviours or values of your organisation or your role. So some signs and symptoms of burnout. So some physical signs would be feeling tired and drained most of the time, lowered immunity or frequent illnesses, frequent headaches and muscle pain, and change in appetite or sleep habits. And some of the emotional signs or symptoms may be a sense of failure or self-doubt, feeling helpless, trapped and defeated, detachment and feeling alone in the world, and loss of motivation, or increasingly cynical and a negative outlook on life. And again, decreased satisfaction and sense of accomplishment. Some behavioural signs and symptoms may include withdrawing from responsibilities, isolating yourself from others, procrastinating, taking longer to get things done, maybe using food, drugs and alcohol to cope, and taking out your frustration on others, and skipping work or coming in late or maybe leaving early. So let's now look at the risk factors and what impact it would have on your employees. So the impact of employees would be overwhelming workloads, lack of achievement, lack of feedback or evaluation, feelings of isolation or being overwhelmed, occupational boredom, disenchantment and burnout, and again, increased sick absence. And what impact does burnout then have on the employer? Increased rates of absenteeism, lower levels of productivity, reduced employee engagement, higher employee benefit costs, higher incidence of conflict between employees. So what are the effects of burnout? 63% of staff are more likely to take a sick day. They're half as likely to discuss performance goals with their manager, and 23% more likely to visit A&E. Staff who are dealing with burnout are 2.6 times as likely to leave their current employer and are 13% less confident in their own performance. So what's the difference in stress and burnout? So when someone's stressed, they often put too much effort into things. They experience emotions more strongly, can sometimes cause hyperactivity, sometimes can have less energy and can lead to anxiety. However, with burnout it's slightly different. Someone who is suffering from burnout may have little or no input into things. They can experience flattening emotions. Burnout can cause a helpless feeling. It can give less motivation or hope and can lead to depression. So some best practices within your organisation. So how to manage employees so that they don't suffer from burnout? First thing is, know your organisation's policies. Early intervention is key, so if you start to notice some of the signs and symptoms, it's important to speak to that member of staff and create an open environment for discussion. Signpost the member of staff to other sources of support if needed. That might include counselling or other areas like occupational health. If possible, consider reasonable adjustments that will help your team member to manage better at work. Maintain confidentiality at all times and have a sensitive approach to the conversations you're having with your employee. So managing yourself. What can we do to manage yourself and help prevent burnout? Know your stressors and know your response to your stressors. Identify problems and take actions on those problems. Develop effective behavioural skills. Establish and maintain strong support networks, whether that's your boss, your teammates and other colleagues within the organisation. And when necessary, seek additional support like counselling. Develop a lifestyle that will buffer against the effects of stress, fatigue and burnout. So resilience is the term we use to describe how effectively we bounce back to normal from experiencing adverse events at home or at work. Resilience is about personal strength. It's about how well we can absorb and ignore the knocks and experiences of everyday life at home and at work so that they don't interfere with our daily routine. One person's resilience against an event can be another person's terrifying ordeal. One is not affected by the event, whilst the other may suffer shock for some time after the event. So just a definition that we use for resilience is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress, such as family and relationship problems, serious health problems, or workplace and financial stressors. As much as resilience involves bouncing back from these difficult experiences, it can also involve profound personal growth. We're now going to look at the circle of health. Fostering resilience is central to the whole health approach and it can be cultivated in a number of ways. A model for resilience can be drawn from the circle of health as illustrated in the picture. What does this mean? It means we look at the holistic approach. So me, what really matters to me? Mindful awareness. What do I notice about my health and my well-being? Self-care. What do I want for myself? The professional care that I receive. Who's part of my healthcare team? And community. Who is part of my community? So workplaces with happy workers have higher autonomy, have adequate resources to do the job, staff get praise for what they do, there are supportive friendships in the workplace, people can grow in their job, staff receive ongoing training, they make an impact in their work environment, have flexibility, and they encourage a healthy work-life balance. So just to summarise, we use a 3R approach. The good news is that burnout is not inevitable. You can prevent it and reverse it. So the first way to do that is to recognise, so watch for the warning signs of burnout. Reverse the damage that has already been done by seeking support and managing stress. And being resilient. Build resilience to stress by taking care of your physical and emotional health. That brings us to the end of part 3 of the Understanding Fatigue and Burnout series. If you have any further questions or queries, please do not hesitate to contact HSENI's Mental Wellbeing at Work Advisory Service. You can do this by emailing the team at stress@hseni.gov.uk or by telephoning us on 0800 0320 121. Please check out our other series of videos on managing work-related stress, a line manager's approach, and the management standards approach. Thank you.